So, you want to be an architect? Maybe you were sketching buildings since the time you were just a kid. Or maybe you just completed your school and now everyone is telling you to become an architect or join architecture college just because you are creative and you sketch. And you are wondering, is it really worth it? Here's what no one tells you. Architecture as a profession is absolutely different than what people generally think it is. Architecture is not just about sketching and being a creative person. It requires a lot more skill sets than what people think it is. So in this video, I will cover all the major skill sets that you need to have to become an architect and to successfully graduate your architecture degree. And for the people who are new to my channel, my name is Saransh Singh. I've been practicing architecture since 10 years and now I am into BIM industry and I keep making informative videos for all the architecture professionals and architecture aspirants. And without any delays, let's get started with the video. So the first and the most general skill that people often talk about in architecture is being creative and a problem solver. These are the very core skills that you need to be an architect. If you are a creative person and if you like problem solving, if you're good in geometry, if you have that serious knack of solving things, then definitely architecture is something that you can look into. But the next skills that I'm going to cover are the most critical ones that you need to have to become an architect successfully. So the first skill that I would emphasize the most on is the software skills. It's been 10 years, guys, since I completed my architecture graduation. And since then, from 10 years, I have never opened a drafting sheet and made a drafting drawing or sketched an entire building plan, section, elevation by hand. So architecture is no more about drawing something on the sheet. You might draw something to create an initial concept, but nothing more than that. So you need to be good with computer-aided softwares. That is called the CAD softwares. It can be either Revit, AutoCAD, SketchUp, ArchiCAD, any software you pick. You need to be good with it. You need to make sure that you are okay with working on computers for 6 to 7 hours a day. That's what we do. That's what I'm doing since past 10 years. You have to sit in front of computer for 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, or sometimes even 12 hours. So you need to make up your mind that you like softwares, you like working on softwares, you like working on computers, because architecture has evolved significantly. Everything in architecture industry that we do right now happens on computers. So this is the first skill that you need to have essentially in architecture. Second skill set that often people ignore is the communication and presentation skills. So architecture is not just drawing. Architecture is also about justifying what you are doing, justifying your design, justifying your actions to your clients, to your bosses, to your managers. So you need to be very precise and very good in communication. It took me a very long time to understand this fact that communication is essentially the most important skill of all. Because you might be very good in softwares, you might be very good as an architecture professional, but unless and until you are able to convey your ideas, your designs, you are able to convey your presentations, till that time, you won't be successful. So as a successful communicator or a presenter becomes a successful architect eventually. So this is one of the core skills that you need to master before getting into architecture. So the next skill is something that I keep telling everyone that everyone should have, is patience and the interest in details. So I would tell you something, an architect, if you remove the construction part out of architecture, if you just consider the design development part, the design, the fancy thing that we do, we make buildings, we design some creative structures, we make very creative design. This thing takes just 10 to 20% of the total time taken by a project if you eliminate the construction part. So the interesting part, the fancy part is just 10 to 20%. Other than that, we work highly on details. We work on very complicated details. We work on coordination between different consultants like HVAC, plumbing, electrical. All of these things are done by us. We do the detailing, we do the coordination between different consultants, and then we make the final working drawings, and then we submit all the project. And all of this takes around 80% of the time of an architect. So the fancy thing that people get attracted to, that they will be designing things, they will be making big buildings, interesting and marvelous buildings, that's just the 10% of architecture. So you need to be very patient, because a lot of architecture projects takes years since a single brick is moved on site. There are projects that I have been working on since years, and there haven't been anything done on the site. So the design development and the entire construction documentation part is the most tiring part, and it takes years before something is ever even built on the site. So the patience part becomes a very critical part. Then the interest in detail, like how much details you can produce, how much time you can put yourself into a project, also matters a lot in architecture. Last but not the least point, I would say, is the curiosity beyond the architecture classrooms. So a lot of architecture schools are teaching outdated things in these schools. I know people might argue with me about this, but I am really telling you, a lot of architecture schools are outdated. They are still teaching you the basics, which is important, but they are stretching it too much. People are not teaching enough about softwares. People are not teaching enough about the actual processes that happen in the office. So most of the architecture professionals who are graduating out of architecture college are not trained to be working in the real life environment. Everything that they learn is on the field, on the site. So that's why your curiosity beyond the architectural college becomes very critical. You need to keep exploring. You need to keep exploring new designs, new technology that is coming up. You need to see other architects work as well. This will eventually train you to become a better architect, or even to evolve yourself in the design perspective. No professor in the world talks about like how you will evolve your design. That is something that you need to do. So you need to be inherently curious person. You need to be inherently an explorer of new ideas, new fundamentals, new design philosophies and languages. So this will eventually push you towards becoming a better architect. And of course, the last and the final thing is, you don't have to be greedy. Architecture is a profession which is very, very slow. It takes a lot of time for us to start earning money. So you might join architecture college with the hopes that you will be earning 6 or 7 digit salaries, which is not true. Even if you start your own firm, it will take at least 5 to 10 years after your graduation for you to become a known person into architecture fraternity, or to get significant projects that you will sustain on. So architecture is a slow profession. You need to understand that, and you need to be patient. You need to be patient, and you need to be an entrepreneurial mindset kind of a person, where you think that you are a professional and you can do your own work. That is a mindset that I believe every architect should have. Even if you are working for a firm, you should have that inner calling of having your own firm and having your own architectural practice. That will eventually motivate you to become an architect. So guys, these were all the prime skills that I feel that everyone should know before joining architecture. And if you are an architect already, and if you think that I missed out on something, please go ahead, mention it in the comment section, because in this way, we will be helping the people who are actually thinking of becoming architects in future. So go ahead, share your knowledge, and if you have any kinds of doubts or queries, please go ahead, mention it in the comment section. I definitely try to reply every comment on my videos. And of course, do not forget to hit a like and subscribe to this channel because I need your support to keep making these kind of videos. Take care of yourself. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.